What was the biggest crypto mistake that you made in the 2021 bull run?
Okay, I made three major mistakes. Three. Well, we'll talk about a rotation mistake. We'll talk about an investing mistake, and we'll talk about a building mistake. Let's talk about a rotation mistake. It hasn't happened to me yet this bull run, but it happened to me last bull run where I rotated out of my pancake swap, like my full bag early. So I did a spaces with who was it? CZ, not spaces,
Whoa.
Clubhouse. Remember
Yeah,
Clubhouse?
of course.
So I did a Clubhouse with CZ back in the
Really?
day. And yeah. And this was when Uniswap had just launched. It was me, Luca, and then another buddy of ours, Sai, who runs Involio.
Okay.
It's a trading app. We were at the Ritz in Atlanta, and we're like, bro, we were like talking about Uniswap. This is like 2019, like DeFi summer 2019. And then there was a Twitter beef between CZ and the founder of Uniswap. Like, this is how I make my investments. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like, okay, CZ is now talking about the dexes and like, hey, he's gonna come after like Uniswap's lunch. It was very visible in the interaction. So I started figuring out what are the dexes that are built on BNB. There was this old man, I think it was like Crypto Dad or something like
Okay.
that. It was like the only Binance Smart Chain video on YouTube at the time. And PancakeSwap was at a $25 million market cap. I think the APY for like staking at the time was like 14,000%. It was some ridiculous shit. So at 25 mil market cap, I buy 1% of the circulating supply of PancakeSwap. Now, I'm gonna call him out because he's gonna laugh. Phase Rain hits me up. He calls me. He calls me in 2020, is it? And he's like, "Yo, should I buy SafeMoon?" Like that. He calls me. He's like, "Yo, should I buy SafeMoon?" This is when the shit's kind of going off, and that's when SafeMoon migrates over to the Binance Smart Chain. So they migrate over the contract, and then I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna sell." I sell really fast at like the 20 to 26 to $30 mark as soon as Safe Moon hops over, and then I chill in stable coins. That proceeds to go up to I think 42, $46. It doubles from there. But my stack was really big. And my high conviction was deterred by a quick rotation. And you've probably seen it, and it happened to me, I think, as well with Dogecoin, is your bags like sit there and linger for months. And the moment you sell, they pop off. And it fucked me. So like I did that with PancakeSwap. I ended up making $5-6 million on it. I should have rotated more, should have been a bigger bag, but it was enough. Trading mistake. Leverage. The first dump from 60,000 down to 45,000, if you look at the double top of Bitcoin last bull run, I remember I think it was Bybit. It was three exchanges. Bybit had just rolled out, Binance, and I think it was KuCoin. And I opened up all the apps and I was like checking the balance, and it showed and it displayed zero on all the balances of all the apps. I'm like, why isn't it working? And it wasn't working. And then I hit up support every single one. It's like, hey, where's my balance? And they're like, hey, check like your history, check your liquidation. And I liquidated 2.5 million dollars overnight on that dump. It was horrible. And it was liquidated, not drawdown. On the building side, what I would say is understanding that you need to build based off of people's desires. And in this space, it's a very interesting dichotomy because what drives attention isn't necessarily what drives price. And what drives attention isn't necessarily what the project is about. Maybe when you talk about, for example, when you talk about XRP is a great example. XRP is this type of coin that, has all these levels of utility, but people talk about it in what sense? They talk about it in the sense of competing with world reserve currency. And at this point, they're like a cult following. So XRP is one of these examples whereby the community, like building around the community as opposed to building around the utility of the product is what matters. And I think like Pengu did a really good job building around the community. Hyperliquid did a really good job BMB did a good job first building the community, the product, and then tokenizing it. I think with NFTs, the ability to tokenize and then build value is really difficult. And the reason it's difficult is for the simple reason of, imagine you're a new shareholder, right? Imagine you're a new shareholder to a company. A company goes public. Let's just say you and I start a company, clothing company, we go public, all right? Public stock, day one, right? The company hasn't generated any revenue, but we're just like pre-revenue. We're going to sell our shares. What happens now as a founder is you have to do the following. You have to manage the community. You have to manage the company. You have to increase revenue, and you have to manage the floor price. Impossible, right? It's impossible to do all of these all at once. And I fell for that trap. And when you fall for this trap, what it does is it ends up causing your inability to build with kind of long-term mindset. And I think this obviously plays, when I was talking with one of the founders of a company that's listed on NASDAQ, he said, we live for the next quarter. Like, we live for the next quarterly report. Nothing matters. There's no future except hitting your numbers so that the stock can pump. So when you look at NFTs, when you look at crypto, unless you have a real true community that uses the product and is really rallying behind what you're talking about, what you're doing, then what you're going to do is be chasing the survival of your floor price or the survival of your chart forever. So you have to swap the script. And I think over the last couple of years, the script has been kind of shifting from, instead of tokenizing first, tokenizing second, right? And building the product. And if you have the ability to build a product that has monetization attached to it, then you're going to see explosion. We saw it with Juke, right? Like, they built a fucking sick ass product. They made the ability to use Solana so much better. They absolutely crushed it, and then they tokenized. So I think that that's where we're going to start seeing a lot of tokenization, but from real companies. And I think over the coming years, people are going to understand that the tokenization at the beginning is good, but it's not always the narrative or the trend that one should follow. Because if there's pre-sales, if there's VCs, if there's, like all these rounds before you, once it hits open market, once it hits Binance, it's down only. So if you want to hit Binance or hit these exchanges and you want an up only trend, then you have to have a community that utilizes your product, that fucks with your mission, vision, brand, and values, and ultimately gives you the ability to focus on the company and the community and not necessarily the floor price or the chart, which will take care of itself. So building the community, building the product, and then tokenizing, as opposed to the opposite way around.
Yeah, by the way, it might get lost because you said a lot there, but I actually think it's based take, which is tokenizing second, like launching the coin, the NFT, the token, whatever it is, after product market fit and getting successful is actually, like, it's why I think base is going to be successful. And I had Jesse Pollock come on. It's funny. He said like exactly this. And he basically was like, yeah, we could launch base token if we were to do it right now and incentivize builders to come on base and get growth on the chain right now. Or we could do it the hard way, get it out the fucking mud. And then once we're successful without it, we launch, base coin. And it's like sprinkles on fucking top. Like, I think that's a really good take, and I think that's why part of the reason why Pudgy Penguins is going to be successful here.
Yeah, and what I like about Pudgy, which I think is interesting, is they've understood, and I observed this throughout the entire launch. I was like, I want to observe what they do with every other social media platform, and if they're going to apply the same social media strategy to every social platform, which is what every company does. So, enough, for example, let's say the BAYC launch, right? Whereby in the BAYC launch, what took place is they kind of spread the message cross-border. I kind of lost you there.
No, you're back. Yeah, I think somebody skipped, but you're back. I heard you on BAYC launch.
So BAYC launch of their token, it was first, it was at the end of the bull run. Right, so they were at the tailwind of the bull run, so they caught the end of the bull run, unlike Pudgy, who caught the beginning. And two is, when Ape was introduced, it was introduced as an in-game currency, right? So it was introduced with all these promises attached to it. Pudgy has no promises attached to the coin except we want to onboard 1 million users. And what Pudgy is doing differently is, instead of looking at floor price and instead of looking at what the token is valued at or what the NFT is valued at, they're looking at onboarding users. So like Luca hits me up, and the metric that he talks to me about is how many people are watching my videos. How many people, how many plays is this getting? How many impressions does it get? So when he tells me, hey, we're getting 200 million impressions in a month, okay, well, that means something, right? Like there's enterprise value attached to 200 million impressions. And what does that mean for the greater culture? So I like NFTs. I think NFTs are going to be really cool. I want to see NFTs applied into like more serious stuff, as in like maybe voting, like government voting, like
Yeah.
as we vote in an anonymous way. Maybe some sort of digital identity that doesn't allow you to like dox yourself, but still lets you know, hey, if you're interacting with another person on the internet, is this person AI or not? And this is the transition we talked about, like cycles. What I think is going to be the next cycle in crypto, which is going to be AI dominated. It's just going to be bots trading against bots and algorithms trading against algorithms. People are going to be honeypotted into a Telegram group with 2,000 AI bots in there, and they're going to be the only real person, right? And it's like that's what's going to happen. So how do you fight that? When I was talking to the Ton team, they're working on like, and everybody's kind of scratching their head. How do we authenticate humans versus all these machines, especially in crypto? So I think NFTs or some sort of soul-bound experience gives you the ability to like authenticate humans. So I'm looking for these use cases in NFTs. But I don't know this. I wouldn't say I'm never going to invest in crypto in the near future, but my involvement, I would say, in the space, this bull run, I would say climaxes due to the fact that next bull run, there's going to be so many artificial intelligence participants, so many artificial intelligence accounts, so many artificial intelligence influencers. We're talking 4 or 5 years from now, things are going to be extremely different. I don't know what that means for the markets. Maybe you'd like to tap in. I don't know what that means for the stock ecosystem or the commodities game, but I don't know. I'd feel a little bit odd competing with algorithms and bots
Yeah.
on buys and sells. So I might just end up being a Bitcoin kind of guy over the near future as I kind of just continue building businesses on the internet.
Are you, Luke Belmar, worried about being replaced by AI?
So no, because of what my main business is. So like my main business is investing, and and where I get my investments is through my network. So Capital Club, which is my in real life physical experiences, physical events club. This people travel all over the world, get together. That's where I get my deal flow. So in order for AI to replace me, AI has to create physical experiences, has to create the ability to put people together, and has the ability to be able to negotiate on my behalf. So my move away from the digital into the physical is, like you said, it's a hedge against AI. So my goal right now is to figure out what is AI going to commoditize. For example, AI is going to commoditize software, SaaS. I think SaaS is going to be harder and harder to launch and harder to monetize because it's getting cheaper and cheaper and more powerful. But what are the things that AI cannot commoditize? Well, it can't commoditize relationship. Like it can't commoditize our relationship. It can't commoditize us playing a match of ping pong and wagering $50 on it and the experience, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a premium to in-person relationships. There's going to be a premium to in-person experiences. There's going to be a premium attached to in-person relationships. So kind of I know it sounds counterintuitive to what I'm currently doing, but my pivot is into basically the real world where I think there's going to be a premium in the near future as the internet becomes commoditized by AI.